Yo, what's up guys, it's your boy Anizi with What If Naruto Was Betrayed and Went Back in Time Part 5. So guys, we last left off at Naruto doing the tuning exams first and second round, while catching the Jinchurikis for the Otsutsuki to revive Kaguya. We then saw Naruto humiliate Kiba and destroy Rock Lee, after which he captured the remaining Jinchurikis that weren't in the tuning exams apart from Killer B. So let's continue. Naruto walked to the tuning exams stage as he was walking across a alleyway when he was suddenly dragged in. After that, he was kissed on the lips, where he looked up and saw his beloved Mikra in her human form Genjutsu. Before embracing her, "Mikra-chan, you're actually alive. Here I thought that you might be late," Naruto says, crying in between her assets. "Oh my, did you really miss me that much, Naruto-kun, my prince?" Mikra says. "So anyways, babes, I'll leave you to it," Mikra says, as she walks to the stands. When she enters, she sees the sections divided. She sees that nobody is on Naruto's side, so she goes there and sits down, while Naruto left to the participant area. As the citizens and the visitors of Leaf start to stare at this goddess's beauty. "Hey beautiful," a man says, coming up to her. "That's the demon supporter side. I think you're sitting on the wrong side. Come and sit next to me," he says, "and we could cheer for Uchiha-sama together," the man says. "No thanks, peasant. I'm gonna cheer for Naruto. He's obviously the strongest," Mikra says, as the man then starts to squeeze her arm. "It wasn't a request. After this, you're gonna come to my house and show me a good time. But right now, we're gonna cheer for Lord Uchiha," the man says, as Mikra's chakra then begins to flare, as she starts to think that this peasant dared lay a hand on her, especially a dirty human that had hurt her man. As she grabs the man's arm, squeezing it, making him drop down on the floor as she starts to kick his dick multiple times. "How dare you, dirty peasant. Only Foxy-kun could touch me like that," she says, as she throws him out of the arena and walks to her seat. The Anbu tries to come and arrest her. However, she sends killing intent at them, making them run away in fear. Everyone felt fear as both Danzo and Hiruzen were aiming to get her on Leaf's side, or for Danzo to have him in his route. But right now they had to focus on the exam. After a few minutes of waiting, Sasuke finally made his appearance, like the little show-off he is, causing everyone to cheer, as the proctor then calls Naruto and Neji down to the stage. The match between Naruto, Lee, Sasuke and Neji has been changed to a battle royale on request of the Fire Lord, the proctor says, as the Leaf Shinobi get angry at this, but they can't do anything. But the Leaf noticed something weird about the Fire Lord. He was a bit more paler than usual. "The battle royale starts now," the proctor yells, as both Neji and Sasuke activate their eyes. "Dobe, just give up. You don't even have a dojutsu and you're a clandestine disgrace," Sasuke says. "Fate is not with you, demon. Dead last. You might as well give up. You might have beaten that loser Lee, but I'm stronger than him," Neji says. "Oh really? So let me tell you one thing. One of you is a heir to a dead clan, and one of you is a slave. Let me tell you something interesting. The Uzumaki were a clan, but not just any clan. Have you not read the Second Shinobi War? How we took on 3 great nations, decimating 75% of their forces? We did better than Emo Boy's clan. At least our clan wasn't taken out by one lunatic who wanted to test his power. And you, Mr. Fate, you're not getting off so easily. At least I'm not a slave to my clan. Why don't you go and clean the dishes and lick your master's boots like you're supposed to? Plus, your clan is just full of inbred scum, and they're so weak they can't even fight long range," Naruto says. Sasuke and Neji charge at Naruto. Sasuke uses a fireball jutsu, to which Naruto uses a wind-style great wind breakthrough, sending it at Neji, blowing him up. "You think your eyes are the best? Well, let me show you my dojutsu," Naruto says, and that dojutsu surpasses all. Naruto then activates his Rinishari Tensegun. As everyone was shocked, "The demon has a dojutsu. What's this dojutsu?" "Let's take his eyes," were what the people are saying. "What's that?" Sasuke asks. "None of your business, Sasuke," Naruto says. "Fine, I don't care. The Sharingan is the strongest, so nobody cares about your unheard, unnamed dojutsu." As Sasuke charges at Naruto, Naruto dodges all of his strikes using the Sharingan's ability to see and anticipate attacks, while Neji tries to use the 64 palms of Naruto but Naruto just uses his Rinnegan ability to harden his body. Then Naruto uses Shinra Tensei to send them flying back, as he then uses Almighty Pull to bring them towards him. Naruto then grabs out the rusty kunai, yes, the same kunai he used in the past or in the future to remove Sasuke's pole, as he then repeats the process as Sasuke begins screaming, "What are you doing to my Sasuke?" Sakura yelled, as the Lee citizen tried to rush in to help Sasuke, but Naruto uses Shinra Tensei, sending them flying back to the stands, killing 15 to 20 people, as Naruto then did the same to Neji. Naruto then rips out Sasuke's eyes and Neji's eyes, as he then starts to stab Sasuke over and over, cutting it, as the rust of the blade started to drop into Sasuke and Neji's bloodstream. Naruto then pulls out some honey and places it on Sasuke and Neji, as then he brings out a scroll and lots of rats come out of it as they start to nibble on Sasuke and Neji, eating them whole. Naruto then uses Almighty Pull when they're near death too, and then he seals the rats back into the scroll. "So Proctor, do I win?" Naruto asks, dropping a bloodied Neji and Sasuke, who fainted from the pain. As the Proctor nods in fear, "Winner, Naruto," he says, as he quickly calls for the medic team to come and pick up Sasuke and Neji. Luckily they were on their last leg, they were still alive. Naruto then walks to the stage, seating area, where he encounters Killer Bee going to the bathroom. Naruto then quickly, out of nowhere, puts on his Akatsuki outfit and kicks Bee, sending him flying out of the leaf borders, as Naruto flies right after him. "What are you doing here, Akatsuki scum?" Killer Bee says. "You're a Jinchuriki, surrender yourself for peace," Naruto says, mocking pain. "Never," Bee says, as he charges at Naruto with the 7 sword style. Naruto easily dodges all of his strikes. Naruto then uses magnet style to take away all of Bee's swords. "You're unarmed. Surrender or suffer a fate worse than death before I kill you," Naruto says. "Never," Bee says. "Yuki, are you ready?" Bee asks his partner. "Yes, partner," Yuki says, as they both go into 8 Tails chakra mode. So Yuki is the 8 Tails chakra mode. "Well then, let's see how you take on my 10 Tails chakra mode," Naruto says, as he starts to use Future Karma chakra mode, or Chorus chakra mode as he calls it. The power release was incredible, but luckily Naruto had placed a few seals around this area before, so it wouldn't be sensible to anybody else outside of the area. "How? Father destroyed the 10 Tails," Yuki said. "Shut up and fight me," Naruto and Korra says. Bee then charges at Naruto, swinging his tentacles at Naruto, but Naruto in his 10 Tails form easily caught them, throwing Bee back. Bee then launches a tailed beast bomb at Naruto, which Naruto easily countered by deflecting it towards the Land of Iron mining facility, where the world's metal comes from. "You're weak, Bee. I've seen enough. I've had enough of your games," Naruto yells as he fires a Bijudama at Bee at 5% of his power, making Bee get launched out of his 8 Tails mode and land unconscious on the wall as blood splattered, but he wasn't dead. Naruto then goes up to Bee outside of his KCM mode and saw a unconscious Bee as he sealed him into a scroll. He then gave it to Zetsu and told him to take him to Obita's hideout. Naruto then sees Obita slaughtering the Akatsuki and taking Pain's eyes, as Naruto used the invisibility jutsu before he came to the hideout and made his chakra insensible. "So Zetsu, your contact has already got us to 8 Tails, I presume," Obita says. "Yes, now hurry up and become the 10 Tails, Jinchuriki," Zetsu says, before something goes wrong, as Obita does just that. "I've done it. I finally become the 10 Tails. Rain, I'll see you again. I've succeeded where Madara Sensei failed. I'm better than Madara," Obita yells, as he never saw Black Zetsu stab him, as he starts to inflate and became Kaguya. "Hello there, grandmother. Welcome back to the world of the living," Naruto says, dropping his invisibility jutsu. "My grandson, you did it, as you promised," Kaguya says, as she embraces Naruto and kisses him on his forehead. "Yes, grandmother. Now we just need to head back to the Leaf Village and continue what the Leaf started," Naruto says, as they fly back to Leaf. Zetsu catching a ride on his mother inside of the kimono, like he hid in the 4th Shinobi War. Naruto then walks to the stand with Kaguya and Zetsu, meets up with Mikura. This is Mikura, Kaguya says quietly. Lady Kaguya, so you're Naruto's grandmother, or at least in the past life, and you're his ancestor right now. Mikura says, yes, my princess. May I have a private talk with you? She asks as both of the girls walk far away from everyone, and they use a privacy jutsu, because Naruto's side was literally empty. So what do you want, Lady Kaguya? Mikura asked. Well, I just want to help my grandson. What do you want? Kaguya asks. I want to help my husband and prince get his revenge, and anything else he wants. Mikura says, I have one more question. Is it true that you'll forgive my crimes against the clan? Kaguya says regretfully. Naruto will become the king of the Otsutsukis once we reach our home world, and he will forgive you, which means that our whole clan will forgive you. You're very lucky to have the greatest grandson ever, Mikura says, blushing as she thought about how great Naruto was, as she remembers the first time meeting him. Kaguya seeing this smile, as both of the girls walk back and join Naruto and Zetsu, who are wearing their genjutsu. Mikura goes and puts her head on Naruto's shoulder. So you freed Kaguya just like you said you would, she says. Yeah, it was easy. Gathering those disgrace of Jinchokis was so easy, and especially the last one. A single kick sent him flying up the boulders. Naruto says as both of them started laughing at how weak Killer Bee was. So how did you release the 8 tails so quickly, Mikura says, knowing it takes days to release the tailed beast from these hosts. Well, my Rineshari Tensei gun has a seal breaker ability, Naruto says, as they both embraced each other and started laughing at how weak these humans were. The Leaf Shinobi were looking in disgust towards Mikura and jealousy towards Naruto for having such a beautiful lady on his arms. That flea bag of a dog, Kiba, was so jealous as he was just staring at Mikura's assets while Hinata was slapping him in the face. Naruto then thought like, it seems that instead of liking Sasuke in this one, Hinata has a crush on that ugly flea bag, Naruto says to himself. Naruto was then called up to the stage to fight, which he did and absolutely destroyed the competition. Naruto ended up winning every match as he walked up to the stage and cuddled with Mikura, waiting for the training exams promotion, when suddenly a boom was heard from the Kage boot. Another boom was heard. A Sound Shinobi and Snake started attacking the village. However, from the skies, blue beams have dropped down, revealing several pale skin Rinnegan users, as both Kaguya, Zetsu, Naruto, and Mikura dropped their genjutsus as they look exactly like those soldiers, as they floated in front of the Otsutsukii armies, as the Otsutsukii army kneeled before them. My prince and princess, shall we enact the Zero Mortals plan? The commander of the Otsutsukis asked. But guys, that's all for today. Peace. Peace. But guys, that's all for today. Peace. Peace. Peace.